everybody, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Dino Crisis. I'm starting a little bit behind where I ended in the last video because of how the game saved, basically. But it's really not that far behind. It's just entering this code and then going into this room, which you saw a little bit of in the last installation of this, the last episode of this LP. So, see this weird like energy vortex kind of thing. And by the way, I did mention in an earlier video in this Let's Play that about this whole lack of an overt health system like you have in Resident Evil. Like, you don't have an EKG. So I kind of started to read some game facts, some kind of like FAQs and stuff, and there actually is a health system. You have to look at the way Regina is running or walking. It's not obvious to me, but I've read it in a couple FAQs where you can tell whether she's healthy or not in two ways. There's kind of two aspects to her health: whether she's bleeding or not, which is pretty obvious, and the way what her stance is when she's running. Apparently she does clutch her side or something like that when she's injured, which I wasn't really paying attention to. It might be more obvious than I think it is, so I'll keep that in mind. So I suppose that's not as bad as I thought it was. Alright, so I'm just gonna take that, and I'm really gonna try to conserve these anesthetic darts. If I can make more poison darts, then that's even better, which I presume I make by combining a resuscitation pack with an anesthetic dart L, I think. I'm still trying to learn the mixing formula, kind of the mixing system here in this game, but I am learning it. It's not as daunting as I thought it was. By the way, this video is actually a lot shorter than many of my other videos. I'm gonna start like making videos 15 minutes or less, because I just think that's a little easier, kind of bite-sized parts of this Let's Play. This is really not that long of a game anyway to justify 20 or 30 minute videos, so it's not too bad. And this video is short also because I had to do a lot of editing. There was a puzzle I got stuck in. You'll see that momentarily. And also, I didn't really know where to go. I still don't have this game memorized by any means. So I'm gonna see if I could play around with this little panel here. Alpha, ignite the third energy circuit. Beta, set the initializer. Gamma, set the stabilizer. I guess I'll start with the stabilizer. I don't really know. And then the initializer, and then I'll do alpha, which I forgot what that was about, but that looks about right. Something happened, so hey, there you go. Not enough energy for the simulation system cannot be started. I don't know if that has any impact in the game, but I decided to do it anyway, so I don't think there's much else for me to do here. So I'm gonna go back out to where Gale is. He should still be out here.
He's not here.
Why? This operation is taking way too long already.
Warning. The emergency system has been activated. Emergency lockdown in progress.
What's going on?
No. Kirk must have tripped off the security system. That fool.
What's your status, Regina? I'm reading an emergency lockdown in your section.
We're trapped inside here. Kirk must have triggered it off. We didn't touch anything.
Can you clear it?
I'll see what I can do.
What's wrong with this thing?
Cool, Gale. We'll find a way out somehow.
Alright, so this panel I can now use. Will you operate the circuit panel? By all means, yes I will. So this puzzle's kind of cool because it's not only about the configuration, it's also about the order in which you put the panels in this bottom part. So I'm skipping ahead. It took about 10 or so minutes to solve this, but this is the right configuration. So I'm just going to put these panels in, and there you have it. That's the solution.
Warning. The emergency lockdown has been bypassed. You have 10 minutes until this section is sealed off.
We'd better get moving. We've bypassed the door lock and we're on our way out.
That's great, but the entire underground area is crawling with dinosaurs. You'll never be able to make it through there.
Don't sweat it. I'll take them all out one by one if I have to.
Brilliant plan, fearless leader, but I have a better one. These readouts tell me there's an emergency escape hatch in the dock's private quarters. You should be able to make a clean break through it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, but there's one problem. The hatch is password locked through the mother system.
Forget it. If you can't crack the code before the dinosaurs rush in, we'll be completely trapped.
I know. You just have to trust me.
They don't.
Fine. What about you, Chief?
Make your choice.
Alright, so this is in time. So I can either go with Gale or go with Rick. So I'm gonna go with Rick, but if you're kind of playing along with me, I would really strongly recommend at this point, if you're going with Rick's strategy, you have a pen and paper. Interestingly enough, going back to those game FAQs that I was mentioning earlier, they both recommend actually going with Gale. Oh, use your skill. Basically, you have to kind of fight dinosaurs to get back to where you need to go before you get sealed in this area. But I like Rick's because you don't have to fight anything, and I'm trying to conserve ammo as best as I can. And also, all you need is a pen and paper.
Good work.
But that's just the beginning. The release code for the hatch automatically rewrites itself periodically. We have access, but we're down to 2 chances to clear it. Let's make sure we get it the first time around. I'm going to force the system to display the release codes. Make sure you enter them exactly as displayed. Let's do it.
Alright, so this is the code as it appears. Pretty straightforward enough. Kind of like what's the name of that game? Like Simon? You know, that sort of thing, except it's with letters. So, like I said, just a pen and paper and you're good. A lot of these games are actually like that. The puzzles like this, where you literally need a pen and paper to help you solve it. I mean, unless you have a really sharp memory, which I don't. So there's one. There's 3 codes in total you have to input. So they up the difficulty a little. They kind of try to confuse you by turning over 2 cards at a time, and it only gets a little more tricky from there, but it's still not too bad. So games like this, having a pen and paper next to me playing a PlayStation game is also, whenever I think of this part of the game, I also think of a game called Fear Effect. How many of you guys have played that? Now that's a game I've never beaten, but that game is fun as hell. And I also have the second game, which I think is Retro Helix or something, and the game is pretty difficult for me, but it's pretty awesome. And that's definitely one of those games that you need to jot down different puzzle solutions. So here you go. This is the game trying to throw a little curveball at you. It flips over all 6 cards at once, but you have to see the card that remains flipped for a little while longer. So I think the code is also a little longer, if I'm not mistaken, but it's still not too bad. Again, once you see through their little tricks, really, really straightforward. So just input this last code. By the way, if you miss twice, you cannot, as Rick mentioned, you cannot go through that. You can't use the emergency hatch anymore, and you have to follow behind Gale anyway. So, you know, just make sure you're inputting those codes correctly. And that's the 3rd of the 3 codes. And it's time to get out of here. If I had more ammo, I would consider Gale's strategy, but I really didn't want to risk it.
Hold it.
Liquid Snake?
Dr. Kirk, we've come to help. We're representatives from your nation's government.
My nation? I'm touched. And what do you government agents want with me?
Shut up. You're coming with us if I have to knock you out and drag you back myself.
According to the government, I'm officially deceased, correct?
If that's the way you want it, I'd be more than happy to oblige. So what'll it be, genius?
pages. Magnificent, isn't it? But I can't leave before I've analyzed the final results.
I don't give spit about your results. I'm taking you back under orders, so shut up and follow me. Regina, locate the communication facility and call in the extraction chart.
You can't do this. I have rights.
According to command, your government property now. I suggest you take it up with them.
No, they can't do this to me. They deserted me 3 years ago, and now they want me back. This is preposterous.
Shut up.
And shut up, you lame, flat-top, jar-headed.
Shut up. Where's the communication room?
Take the elevator up from the control room.
I need a card to access that elevator. I know you've got one. Hand it over, Doc.
Fine.
So, we're all set then. I'll meet you at the heliport.
Hey, wait, where are you going?
I have a little unfinished business to take care of. I'll drop this guy off with Rick. Now get moving.
Unfinished business.
Alright, so I'm supposed to go back to the control room that Rick has been working in. And I skipped ahead because I wound up getting lost. I thought I was supposed to go out that big elevator. It turns out the way is blocked eventually. So I just spared you guys that. It was like 5 or 7 minutes of that. So this is the proper way to go. This backup generator room, which I saw earlier, but I just completely forgot. So we're almost there. It's not too bad. But anyway, guy with somewhat long blonde hair, British accent, little prissy. That would be a hell of a crossover. Metal Gear Solid and this isn't Resident Evil, but Dino Crisis. Close enough, I suppose. I did mention this question before, but I don't know if Dino Crisis takes place in the same universe as Resident Evil. Maybe some of the other games in this series answer that question, but it would be interesting if it did. My guess is no, but I could be wrong. Okay. I probably should have turned on the lasers in that hallway. I don't know how many more times I need to use that area, but I didn't want him to lunge at me. So I'm just going to keep moving. It's a few more doors, and then I will be at the control room and see what the next step is. Although actually, what Dr. Kirk had handed me was an ID card, so now I can use that elevator that was in that room. So I should be able to see a different area. Okay, but for now, I think it's a good place to end it. I'm gonna save my game. A little bit was accomplished, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.